The 2020 Grand National Cross Country Championship presented by Specialized opened up in the soils of South Carolina at Union's Big Buck GNCC, where Walker Fowler took the early lead and carried it all the way to the checkers for win number 55 for this 5-time GNCC champion. The big question in the sands of Florida today, will anyone stop Walker Fowler?
Are you ready to go GNCC Racing?
Hello and welcome to round number 2 of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Championship season presented by Specialized, an AMA National Championship. We're at Palatka, Florida, near the Rodman Plantation at the Hogwaller for this Moose Racing Wild Boar GNCC. And 2 weeks ago, we were in South Carolina for the Specialized Big Buck GNCC in Union County at the Henry Turner Farm, where Walker Fowler grabbed the hole shot in the early lead in this one in what seemed like pretty dry conditions, but earlier in the week it was supposed to be a mudder, but when you talk to all the riders after the race, it was a perfect day. You see Josh Merritt out there, good start for him in second place. Not a good day for Adam McGill or for Devin Feehan, as that New York native found himself out early as well. He's going to be looking for some redemption today in the sands of Florida. Meanwhile, out on the trail, Walker Fowler pretty much continued to walk the dog. Now, there was one bright glimpse of greatness out there by Bryson Neal out of Ohio, who made up nearly 52 seconds in a lap of racing and was gaining on Walker Fowler before breaking a chain. Will Bryson Neal be able to find that magic here again today? And as Walker Fowler was taking the checkers and pretty much controlling this day of racing, the battle really heated up for the third and final podium spot as Chris Borich and Jared McClure were in a heated battle on this one. It came into the final turns where you see Chris Borich trying to make that pass on the Sneaky Snake. Last turn, Borich goes for the pass but can't make it happen. McClure takes a third place position as Borich will wrap up fourth place on his new Phoenix Racing Honda ride. And the way the rest of the results look like Hunter Hart, who won last year's season finale, took the 5th place position as we head down to the podium to talk with Walker Fowler.
So starting off 2020 just like we always want to, with a big win, you know, a pretty dominating win. And, you know, if you win by a minute or 1 second, it really doesn't matter. But, you know, I'd just like to get the points lead early. That way you have first pick coming into round 2 again. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to today at the Wild Boar GNCC in Palatka, Florida. Same thing, got to get a good start. It's been pretty dry down here. It's dusty. But, you know, this is the 6th year we've been here. I've won all 5 events up to this point here. So I just want to keep that undefeated streak alive here.
Well, we'll see if he's able to make that happen. We'll know in about 2 hours of racing as they'll be racing through those sandy whoops and extremely deep ruts, a near 13-mile-long race course and a lot of palmetto roots. Green flag waving on this one, round 2 underway, and it is the 4:06, it looks like, of Devin Feehan grabbing the early lead in this one. Right behind him, Chris Borich on that new Phoenix Honda Racing Team ride. Back on a Honda after several years' absence there, and had a pretty good run going last time. Ended up finishing 7th place, a good opener for him as he opens up in 2nd. That looked like Walker Fowler back there in the number 3 spot. And a lot of position jockeying going on in the back of the field. Josh Merritt, who got off to a strong start in South Carolina, back in the last place position off the line here as we go down to the XC2 Pro-Am class now. Drew Lander's going to be the one to beat in this one today. He is a teammate of Walker Fowler, but out front it looks like Drew Abney going to take the early lead in this one, and that is the 400 of Noah Mickelson, who is a Phoenix Honda Racing Team rider also and teammate to Chris Borich, winner of last year's College A class, having a rough way to go in that Pro-Am class at round 1 in South Carolina. Said he was going to change that when they rolled into Florida. It looks like things are already starting to shape up for him as he's up to 2nd place in the early part of this one. A motocrosser moving into the pro class of that division this year. We also saw the number 17 of Drew Landers back there in the number 3 position. A teammate to this rider right here, the number 1 of Walker Fowler, who's out front now on the WFR Land Mills XC Racing Yamaha, and that is Chris Borch, who is shadowing him back in that number 2 position. So we got a couple of old rivals starting out in the sands of Florida. Both these guys have got a lot of experience down here in Florida. They trained all winter long. They are likely the ones to beat. But stick around, we'll see if anyone can do it as the Wild Boar GNCC continues after this. Coverage of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Series on MAVTV is brought to you in part by Specialized Turbo E-Bikes. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATV MC, get ready. And by Yamaha, revs your heart. Welcome back to round 2 of GNCC Racing, the Wild Boar GNCCs. We got a new leader, Chris Borch, out front of this one. It is the number 2 of Bryson Neal. We're on board there with him now, the rider out of Ohio, trying to chase down that number 3 of Chris Borch. Borch, oh wow, Borch switching up those lines there. It almost looks like he's trying to let Bryson Neal go by, and that's something that Chris Borch is known for. He doesn't like to lead early in the race if he's got company back there, and that's exactly what he's got out of Bryson. Maybe he's going to try to follow some of his lines and definitely not show Bryson some of the lines that he's got picked out for later in the race. And we've got a new leader now as a number 2 of Bryson Neal into the lead. That is Chris Borch in 2nd and 3rd place. Jared McClure 4th place. Cole Richardson, there's Walker Fowler all the way back to the number 5 position. Reports are he may have gotten lost on the trail out there, and allowing that rider right there, the number 2 of Bryson Neal, to take over the lead as we roll here through lap number 1. We're at the FMF PowerPoint now, and no one in sight behind Bryson Neal. This young man who spent his entire winter in Ohio not going south any whatsoever to train or do any riding. He said all the riding he did all year long was in Ohio or around that area. 30-degree temperatures basically. I know that's where I'm from also, so he didn't have a lot of great conditions to practice in. Meanwhile, while he's stretching things out, now he did something like this similar a couple of weeks ago in South Carolina when we were at the Big Buck. Now he was coming up through the pack. He passed all the way up to 2nd and was closing a 52-second gap that Walker Fowler had, but then broke a chain and found himself basically DNFing that race. So here we are today. He's out front early on, and the scenarios kind of flip. Walker Fowler's trying to work his way up through the pack. Will Walker be able to get through the traffic and then bridge that gap? Well, that question remains to be answered. Right now, though, the battle is going on for that number 2 position, and is really heated up. Chris Borch is the man in control of that position right now, but right there in his shadows, he has got that number 5 of Jared McClure, and also not far off pace as well is the number 4 of Cole Richardson, and Walker Fowler also lurking back there in the distance. So with that being said, these top 5 riders, we are looking at riders that everyone have hit the podium, everyone have seen the center of the box as well, everyone wants to take the win away from Florida today. Bryson Neal flexing his muscles a little further down the trail here on lap number 1. And as we pan back to watch for our 2nd place position, looks like quite a bit of a gap opening up. And look how tight the trail is here in Florida. A lot of the trail is like this. You see a lot of trees and stuff off to the side, maybe some palms and some hardwoods. But the main issue out here is those palmetto bushes. And it's not necessarily the bushes. Now, they do hamper line choices because it makes it tough to go through those. As we got a new 2nd place ride, that looked like Cole Richardson. Chris Borch in the number 3 spot now, and Jared McClure back in that number 4 spot. But as we were saying about the palmettos, with those bushes come the roots as well. So sandy, whooped out conditions, deep ruts is what we're expecting, and those palmetto roots. So this track is going to be gnarly all day long. And here early on lap number 1, even after traffic from this early morning 2-hour race with the 4x4s, the WXC, and some of our novice classes out there, it's not so rough and so bad. But as you can see, that it is dry, and it is dry deep. So as this race day wears on, we can expect that it's going to become more of a challenge for these well-conditioned athletes. And another shakeup out there, as it looks like a new 2nd place ride in the Sneaky Snake, the number 5 of Jared McClure, and that is Cole Richardson, who's moved up to the number 3 position, not far off the pace of the number 5 of McClure. And there they go. You see them. They can still see each other in the wooded section, even though Bryson Bryson Neal has stretched things out a little bit, about 20 seconds now at this point, up to the 4th place position, the number 1 of Walker Fowler. So he has began his climb up through the ranks. There is 5th place ride, the number 3 of Chris Borch, and last year's last race winner. He was a rookie last season, Hunter Hart. Now in his sophomore season, he is in that number 6 position. And when you look at this, that's 6 riders out front right now that have been on the podium and or at least taken 1 win in their career in the top 6 positions. This field is deep today. As we roll, it looks like Walker Fowler has now moved into the number 3 spot, but still a mountain to climb to reach Bryson Neal, who's out front right now. Stick around. We'll have more after this. Welcome back to GNCC on MAVTV. I'm Rodney Tomlin. We're in Palatka, Florida for round 2 of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Championship presented by Specialized, where the number 2 of Bryson Neal, who had a rough go in round number 1, has moved out to the front and has unleashed a beast on this racetrack, opening up a near 25-second lead at the end of lap number 1. Here on lap number 2, things are starting to tighten up for that 2nd place position already. As you see, Walker Fowler has made that move and pass into the position around the number 5 of Jared McClure, and the number 4 now of Cole Richardson up to the 3rd place position. So problems for the number 5 of Jared McClure, and he has dropped all the way back to the number 4 spot now. Only a little bit of time lost, but it's enough to knock some wind out of the sails, at least here in the early part of the race. We're working on lap 2. There is the number 7 now of Hunter Hart. Looks like he may have gotten around the number 3 of Chris Borch. A little further down the trail and back up front with our leader, Bryson Neal, who is hoping that the last couple of weeks of better weather in Ohio, which afforded him a little extra training time on the bike, is going to give him the conditioning level that he needs to maintain these speeds through the entire 2 hours, and the energy level that it will require to beat this now new 2nd place ride of Walker Fowler, who's fought his way up through the pack, and now the only thing standing between he and the number 2 of Bryson Neal and the likely win is about 52 seconds. That's the gap that Bryson Neal has been able to amass throughout this battle here as we approach the end of lap number 3, and the battles again starting to tighten up a little further back. We see that those battles may have yielded this rider the opportunity to stretch out the lead and get quite a bit of a comfort zone. But again, the big question today is bike fitness. Will he have the conditioning level to be able to maintain this speed, this intensity through the full 2 hours of racing? As of right now, it doesn't appear that Bryson Neal has waned any, but here comes Walker Fowler now, and reports are that this gap is starting to shrink now as we near the completion of lap number 3. As we said, there at the end of lap number 2, it was a 52-second lead that the number 2 of Bryson Neal was enjoying over the rest of the pack, and that battle again slowing those guys down. But now that Walker Fowler has gotten through that, he has his sights set on closing that gap between he and Bryson Neal. He also has his shadow, Cole Richardson, back there on the number 4 machine in that 3rd place position, which is likely to push Walker where he wants to be. And here, as we roll in the lap number 4, it looks like that the number 1 has caught the number 2, and you got the number 4 also back there. So it's a 3-man shootout. Bryson Neal, Walker Fowler, and Cole Richardson. We're on board with Bryson Neal now, and you can see he's got the lead and trying to pick those lines. Man, that track is starting to get rough. It's starting to get deep. Rather healthy out here in this portion of the racetrack. And there's a passing opportunity that opened up for Walker Fowler. He saw it, he threaded the needle, and a new leader here as we saw a 52-second lead wane away for Bryson Neal. Walker Fowler catches him, now makes the pass. What's going to happen in this final lap? Stick around to find out. The Moose Racing Wild Boar GNCC continues after this. Coverage of the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Series on MAVTV is brought to you in part by Specialized Turbo E-Bikes. It's you, only faster. Rocky Mountain ATV MC, get ready. And by Yamaha, revs your heart. Welcome back to Palatka, Florida's Hogwaller and the Wild Boar GNCC, brought to you by Moose Racing here today, and Walker Fowler capturing the lead there just a few moments ago as he tracked down Bryson Neal, who had a 52-second lead over he and the rest of the field at one point there on lap number 2. We bridged the gap at the end of lap 2 and made the pass here on lap number 3. Neal back to the number 2 spot, and that is the number 4 again of Cole Richardson, still holding steady, and now into the number 3 spot as we roll a little further down the trail out near this 7.5-mile marker. That is Walker Fowler, and that is on board with Bryson Neal. Bryson Neal making the pass back on Walker Fowler, and it looks like he may be setting his sights back on taking these checkers. So this is going to be a battle. Many line choices for these riders and lots of passing opportunities. This is going to get good as we get closer to the wire and the checkers here for round number 2. Oh, big problems for your new leader. Bryson Neal clips a tree. He is down. Walker Fowler goes by. Neal trying to remount that machine. There goes the number 4 now. That is Cole Richardson. He's moved into the number 2 spot. Bryson Neal picks that machine back up. He's in 3rd. And wow, what a momentum breaker there. You have to wonder, will that knock the wind out of his sails this late in the race? And what will it mean as far as this finish is concerned? Does Bryson Neal have enough now to try to track Walker Fowler back down? But he's got to get around. There he does. He gets around the number 4 of Cole Richardson, and Richardson might be better suited to let Bryson Neal take command of this position, at least for the moment, and try to latch on, because Neal has a mission, and that is to track down the number 1 of Walker Fowler and regain that lead and take this win, especially after the debacle 2 weeks ago with the chain. Well, not a debacle, but the mishap, obviously. No mishaps here as Walker Fowler on his way, and it looks like he may be able to sustain this one now as he heads into the final turns. We take a look at it from our Yamaha Racing Skycam. The final turns, Walker Fowler heading to the checkers for a win number 56 and his 4th consecutive win here at the Hogwaller and this Wild Boar GNCC. Bryson Neal holds on for 2nd, Cole Richardson for 3rd. Let's head down to our winner.
When I got lost the 2nd time, Bryson was in the lead, and that's not a guy you want, you know, leading a race with that number 2 on the bike. So I just tried to keep, you know, my head in the game. Got hooked up with Hunter Hart, and he was riding really good, and we quit losing time, and I think that was really important for me to see, like, you know, 50 seconds, 45 seconds, 50 seconds. We stuck right there, and I was like, all right, I got to get around him, and then I just got to keep motoring forward. Right here, coming in the white flag, we caught Bryson, and I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be an exciting one. And just before the finish line, some fans had cleared out a little bit of not enough of a spot to really get through, but I just kind of wheelied over a little tree and was able to get the lead, and I was like, man, oh man, this is gonna be a good one. And man, we all went back and forth, the 3 of us. Bryson passed me at the 9, and second he got around me, he clipped the tree root, went backwards into a tree, flipped the bike, never let go of the handlebars, damn near didn't wreck it, but then the tire finally sucked him under the bike and he got ran over by his own bike. So I ended up getting back out in front of him, but I knew that I had to keep pushing hard, because the way he crashed, I don't even know if his tether came undone. So I knew he was going to get up quick. And yeah, rode it into the finish line, about 2-3 seconds for the win. You know, I think he was maybe 15 seconds back, and he was riding good all day, so hats off to him. But he had to come back from almost a minute. We'll take that win. That was a John Force interview right there, minus all the yelling.
Walker Fowler pretty happy with that one, taking 2 wins to start out the 2020 Grand National Cross Country Championship season. Bryson Neal in 2nd, Cole Richardson 3rd, Hunter Hart, the sophomore, in 4th, Jared McClure in 5th. And let's head back down to the winner's circle and catch up with Bryson Neal.
I had a chip on my shoulder from the first race, because last year at the first race I was in 2nd and I broke down, and then first race this year I was in 2nd, I broke down, and I'm like, man, I'm in a hole, got to come back. Got a good start, got in the lead and just tried to sprint, and got a little gap, and I was in no man's land. I didn't know how far I was. Everyone was telling me I was far out, and wasn't tired, just flowing. And Walker, he caught me on that last lap, and or right before the last lap, some fans pointed him a line, real good line. He got me, and man, the pace picked up like that, and I was kicking myself. I was like, man, I should have did this the 3rd lap, you know. But like my friend Casey Greek told me, he's like, you got to teach yourself how to win. He's been doing it a long time. He knows how to win, and I got to keep learning. You know, I passed him back, I think right after the 7, and then I crashed. So as soon as I passed him back, Dance danced around, got kicked around, biffed it, and Walker passed me, Cole passed me, and I'm just happy to bring home second. You know, I'm a Ohio boy, haven't went south the whole entire winter. I've been riding 30-degree weather with my hands numb, and just to come out of the toughest race out of everything in the sand, in the heat, I'm happy.
Well, Bryson may have not got to ride a lot this winter, and when he did, it was cold, so his bike fitness may have not been there, but his finish fitness certainly was as he takes second. Back there in the number 3 spot, we see the number 4, the Cole train, Cole Richardson, taking checkers there. He rounds out the podium. Let's head down and check in with him.
Walker got off to a pretty good start, and, you know, normally he gets the whole shot, so I knew there was a little bit of hope to try and ride with him this race and learn as much as we could. And you know, he made a mistake. We got around. Bryson got out front. I finally worked my way into, I think, around third when Walker caught me. And, you know, we was able to follow him. And I was like, all right, well, this is the guy to try and ride with, you know, get to the front. And, you know, I just kind of sucked it up, rode behind him. And, you know, I learned a lot today. You know, there's a lot of things, you know, to be able to ride behind him, see what he does under pressure, having to make up 50 seconds. And, the whole 9 yards, we learned a lot. This race was more of an experience race actually today than doing good, but we got on the podium, hands are clean, we're ready for Georgia, and we're out of the sand.
Sure, a lot of folks feel like that as we take a look at our Specialized race recap. Remember in this one, Devin Feehan grabbing the early lead, a redemption, if you will, from that breakdown he had South Carolina just a couple of weeks ago. He gets out front early on. Then, of course, Bryce Neal working his way up through the pack, and Chris Borch is out front, and you see that Chris wants somebody else to lead, so Bryson Neal says, I'll do it. And when he did, man, he definitely stretched his legs, and he went on a terror out there, amassing up to 52 seconds of a lead as they rolled through that second lap of racing. By the end of lap number 3, things had tightened back up. Walker Fowler made the pass, and then a little further down the trail, Bryson Neal was able to best him once again, but it wasn't much further than that Bryson clipped the tree and takes himself back to the 3rd place position. Fowler and Richardson both getting by. He remounts his machine, gets back by the number 4 of Cole Richardson, lays chase to the number 1 of Walker Fowler, but it was just too little, too late for the number 2 here in this final lap of racing as Walker Fowler takes win number 2 in the 2020 season, win number 56 in his career, and his 4th consecutive win here to Hogweiler, where we run the Wild Boar GNCC. Drew Landers comes away with the win in the XC2 Pro-Am class. That is Walker Fowler's teammate on the WFR Land Mills XC team. And that's going to wrap things up for us here. But don't forget, you can keep up with everything that is GNCC Racing by going to GNCCRacing.com. On behalf of all of us here, I'm Rodney Tomlin. Have a great day, everybody.